What's up, folks? This is Crypto with James, talking to you today about the current Polkadot parachain auctions, and along with a little look at Polkadot and what's to come. Before I do, as always, update the spreadsheet. These are the first 26 coins I spoke about on that channel that I thought would crash it in this bull cycle. Had you invested $100 to each one when I released the videos and you're still holding those bags, you would be in profit for $73,900. Add in the $2,600 that you would have invested, sitting on $76,500. I've held them all and I've closed positions on them all. I'm reinvesting into new cryptos. If you want to see what I'm in, you can check out Copy My Crypto. It's where I share my live portfolio. My portfolio keeps outperforming the market. My biggest holdings are primed for explosive gains, and some of them have experienced some explosive gains. And the constant thing I'm reiterating at the moment to everybody is please, please, please bank your profits during the bull cycle. Don't try and get out at the top of the market. So few people do. But if you're banking your profits along the way, trust me, you sleep very, very well. You're not here to gamble, so you're not trying to get your max. You're just trying to make sure you're sitting prettier every day. And then when the bear cycle kicks in, which it will kick in, you can reinvest that money into new cryptos. Don't leave the market. Stay in the market, reinvest. Everything's on discount. It's like Black Friday for 2 years. Every single thing is on discount. And all I do during the bear cycle is find the coins hugely undervalued. I found Phantom during the bear cycle. That's up 465 times in value. So a $2,000 or $2.5 investment would have netted you well over $1 million. And all I'll be doing is sharing those gems with the Copy My Crypto members. So if you want to be a part of it, you can check it out. Right, let's have a look at Polkadot. So first big piece of news, obviously, I mean, it's not huge news. So obviously, Polkadot actually, the first parachain slot, Akala won. Right, won fairly conclusively, I might add. In fact, DFG bet $500,000 dot in that. So obviously it won the auction. That's 32.5 million dot that was actually raised for Akala. That puts the figure at around $1.35 billion. DFG is Digital Finance Group, which is an investment company run by James Wu. Now, in terms of obviously Akala winning, that's pretty good news for Akala and just for the general ecosystem. Akala's a top tier project, no doubt about it. Now, obviously, that means that $500,000 dot that was invested into Akala is locked away for 2 years. So that's $500,000 Polkadot out of circulation just from them. And there's been a lot of Polkadot that is now already out of circulation. In fact, as of yesterday, roughly 90.7 million dot was staked or locked in a crowd loan. So obviously that's reduced the circulating supply by nearly 10%, about 9%. The circulating supply of Polkadot is 987 million. So 90 removed. It's in between 9 and 10% of the total supply has been removed from circulation. And Moonbeam is by far and away ahead in this second auction. In fact, Moonbeam Foundation is so far and away, they've stopped accepting DOT tokens in crowd loans. So they want to preserve the rewards for the 190,000 holders who contributed to their launch on Polkadot's parachain. So almost certainly they are going to win the second auction. Kilt is a decentralized identity protocol that's partnered with Moonbeam. And they're basically basically creating a regulatory compliant DeFi infrastructure with decentralized identity. I hate decentralized identity. I don't like it as a concept, but I'm not short-sighted enough to ignore it. It is something that's going to be, digital identity is going to be something that's very prominent over our lifetime. and something like Kilt you can see going pretty well. So a spike in utility, liquidity, and adoption is likely to add fuel to the bullish narrative around Polkadot, as analysts appear to be turning bullish given the recent price action. Bitcoin bros have evaluated the dot price and predicted a trend reversal, and they've referenced the Fibonacci retracement levels, and they expect Ethereum killer Polkadot to hit a new all-time high above $54.98 and a rally towards the $70 target in the current cycle. Now, fundamentally, right now, Polkadot, his all-time high was around that $54.90 mark. So this is the Fibonacci extension. So we can see right now it's flittering in between two levels around 38.99 and, to be fair, around sort of 41-ish. But the question of what happens from here is an interesting one. Now, what we can see from the RSI, I mean, this is based on the 14-day, but we're seeing a spike in the RSI. Small one, very small one on the daily, but that does tend to bode well in terms of a positive direction. You know, that change in RSI does tend to lead to a positive move on the upside for the coin. You know, case in point, you can see the spike here, and then that led to a small rally. I mean, granted, it went from $26 to $31.50, so it's not that small. You're talking 20% rally. And those RSI spikes, you know, they're decent indicator of things to come. Again, you know, your spike here, it's a pretty dramatic spike, mind you, but it turns the price up from, what, $10.59 all the way up after the sort of spike ended effectively, up to $17.98. I mean, that's a solid, or a little over $18. That's a solid 80% spike. Can't moan about that. Now, realistically, this month, I think, or certainly in the next couple of weeks, $60 is your sort of target point, or around $50, $59.59 really, is the next big target point for Polkadot. As the supply starts to squeeze, that's obviously going to bode well. You know, and even, you know, articles will obviously quote this, but historically, the supply shortage has tended to drive prices higher. So supply shortage in Polkadot should drive the prices higher. We saw it with kusama. And while history doesn't repeat, it often reflects. So I do think we'll probably see a spike in Polkadot to the upside, because you do have to bear in mind right now as well, the Polkadot parachain slots are for 2 years. So if 90.7 million DOT are end up being out of circulation, and that's for the first 2 auctions, that's still 90.7 million DOT that aren't in circulation for the next 2 years. So it's an interesting one, because this supply squeeze could lead to a higher price than many expect for Polkadot. Fundamentally, what we will see with these Polkadot auctions is, to be fair, because we've got the first ended on 18th of November, second one ends in 2 days, third ends on a week after, well, effectively a week after that, 2nd of December, then the 9th of December, and then the 16th of December. So by the 16th of December, 5 parachain auctions will have been completed. Then obviously you've got another run through, which will be 6 to 11. So again, by the end of March 10th, all the parachain auctions will have been done. One thing I would point out, I do believe that by that point we'll be hitting a bear cycle. March 10th we'll either be hitting a bear cycle or we'll be in a bear cycle. But then 6th, 7th, 8th, there's a 2-week gap between all of these. So potentially the 8th is probably going to be one of the last that occurs during the bull cycle. Potentially the 9th, but 10th and 11th are going to be quite deep in. Either the bear cycle's here or is on its way. But around these points, from the 6th to the 8th, certainly, you'd be looking at January 27th. So again, more of a supply squeeze. And if it's replicated to the degree that the first two have been, you're looking at maybe potentially another 90 there, and then another 90, and then another 90. So what we could see feasibly is by the 8th round of parachain auctions, if everything's replicated, 360 odd million dollar out of circulation. I think that's unlikely. I think there'll be some level of reduction. Obviously, Akala and Moonbeam in particular, two parachains or two projects that people are super bullish on. We've seen it with Moonriver as an example, because that's obviously sister to Moonbeam, and Karora. There's been a lot of bullish feelings and sentiment towards this project. But it's going to be a really interesting one to see how it plays out. I mean, when we look at the kusama auctions, there's not been huge drops. Yeah, the last two auctions, the winners, there wasn't much kusama committed. But beyond the last two, the amount of kusama committed was pretty much consistent for the first sort of 13 odd auctions. It was around 100,000 or more. So if there's any level of consistency with Polkadot, and it's consistent with as it was with the Akala and Moonbeam, Jesus, the supply squeeze would be fairly massive for Polkadot. And that would certainly result in a price appreciation. Yeah, but Moonbeam and Akala, solid projects to win the first. Next, we'll probably be looking at some level of, again, like your Fala, probably. Shiden, maybe. Because as you can see, the first two that won here, Karora, which is the Akala one, Moonriver, which is Moonbeam's one. So if it replicates, Shiden wins the third Polkadot parachain, or Fala, which is the sister of Kala. So yeah, see how it plays. But yeah, it's nice to see the Polkadot stuff finally up and running. I think there's going to be a lot of bullish momentum in that. And in terms of the market, it looks like things are recovering a little bit. Fundamentally, Bitcoin has got some pretty significant there's certainly resistance knocking around the 57,700 level. So we'd want to see a breakthrough there. If that happens, we will probably see the altcoins really start benefiting. If we zoom in pretty hard over the last couple of days, particularly here and here, we can see that this line right there was pretty good resistance, 59,900. And then certainly, if we look at the hourly, we can see that the particular high that we've experienced over the last 24 hours or so was around 57,600 or 700. So it needs, to be fair, an hourly candle breaking through that, and it might actually push on. But that's only based on, obviously, the last 24 hours or so. So yeah. But yeah, market's looking interesting. It's going to be nice to see how it plays out tonight. Bitcoin does seem to be building some level of momentum. So if it breaks up to the upside of 58k, it should be a pretty nice evening for a lot of the altcoins. But fingers crossed, let's see. Anyway, that's it from me. Hope you're all keeping well and having a lovely day. If you're new to crypto, you can check out Copy My Crypto, or even if you've been here a while, check out Copy My Crypto. So I share my portfolio. My portfolio keeps crushing the market. And again, I bang on about it constantly, but for the love of God, guys, bank your profits, bank your profits, bank your profits. Don't try and get out the top of the market. So few people do. And then don't leave the market. Bear cycle is the most opportune time to invest. Everything's on discount. Coins will be hugely undervalued considering the proposition that they offer, and you will want to be in on that. All I do during the bear cycle is find the gems, and I will share them with everyone in Copy My Crypto. So if you want to be a part of it and find those gems like Phantom, then you can check it out, because you better believe I'm going to find those 20, 40, 50, 100 X's again. All right, take care. Bye-bye.